The Evil Within wasn't a particularly enjoyable game to play. Despite having amazing visual ideas and a solid concept of horror stealth action adventure, it pushed the trademark Shinji Mikami cruelty towards the player overboard, making the whole experience less of a challenge and more of an annoyance and frustration. But the story DLCs to that game have shown promise, and the sequel had the chance to be at least slightly more fun to play. It became so much more.
Here we go again. Into the looking glass.
While the core mechanics of the game are mostly unchanged, it is incredible how much better they feel when an entire game is designed around them. You still rely on stealth a lot, still get very limited resources, and the enemies will still kick your butt quite easily if you make a huge mistake. But making some mistakes now usually leads to a different kind of challenge, to tense, exciting moments, not to instant death and frustration while looking at a loading screen. The Evil Within 2 feels genuinely fun to play, and actually much closer to the core ideas of what survival horror used to be about than the original game ever was. Not less because of the exploration aspect being important. Majority of the game remains explorable and backtrackable for a very long time, with chapters now being more about the story bits and unique one-off areas rather than about the overall game structure. The areas are pretty big, yet are structured in a smart way, so each little section, each specific location or a house you go to explore is a nicely crafted standalone experience or enemy encounter. Some of them leading to side quest type content, some to just additional information or resources, but all of them interesting. Often visually interesting as well, as with the original game and especially DLCs, the game is a joy to behold in action. Transitions, level design, specific scenes, even sometimes sitting in a cover in some corner of a room can give you a view that is absolutely beautiful, as if it's coming straight from the concept art. And even though the game levels are slightly less varied this time around, the game manages to look interesting even in the setting and location design you've seen for many hours up until then. The plot can get pretty ridiculous though, and I don't mean the story as that is expected, as much as I mean the over-reliance on very predictable tropes and cliches by the end of it. I got to give developers some credit, however, for fully embracing this and even making some of the lines, both in story dialogue and some optional activities, as cheesy and stupid as it could be. It's just that there were some ideas and moments in the story that I wish were explored more and in more detail, and they're not. It is also a bit of a shame that apart from two distinct themes, one for a villain and one for the upgrade room, the music in this game is not memorable. The sound design for enemies is amazing, but the music simply follows the modern trends of making it barely noticeable part of ambience, which is a bit sad.
I thought I was better than that. Disappointed!
Though the saddest part is the already mentioned less varied level design. There's plenty of surprises waiting for you, don't get me wrong, but where the original game often went for very distinct level design and very distinct core mechanics for each chapter, in The Evil Within 2 you spend most of your time in the same looking two location varieties and more or less unchanged core gameplay. It's too fun to play to care about this usually, but with the developer creativity shining in so many parts of the game, I just wish it was also more often seen in level and scenario design. In the end though, these gripes I had are easy to forgive, because the game is so fun to play I instantly went for New Game Plus. It's not trying to prove some point, it's not trying to emulate something it is not, it's just being itself. A horror stealth action adventure game, and an extremely enjoyable one at that.
That's perfect. You may very well be the best detective.